Hello and welcome to another episode of Current Affairs MCQ. Let us first begin with the previous day question. Which of the following are the initiatives of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, that is BEE? Energy Conservation Building Code, Standards and Labeling, Perform, Achieve and Trade. Which of the options given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 only, 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is option D. Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Initiatives of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency are Energy Conservation Building Code, ECBC. It sets minimum energy standards for new commercial buildings. Standards and Labeling. Its objective is to help consumers make an informed choice about various energy-consuming appliances for energy efficiency performance. Perform, Achieve and Trade, that is PAT. It is a regulatory instrument to reduce specific energy consumption in energy-intensive industries. Also, it provides a market-based mechanism to enhance the cost effectiveness through certification of excess energy saving which can be traded. Hence, option D is correct. Now, let us begin with today's episode. The first question is, consider the following statements about the leader of the opposition. The office of the leader of the opposition is mentioned in the Constitution. Second, he is not a member of the Public Accounts Committee. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Only 1, only 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is option D, that is neither 1 nor 2. Leader of the opposition. The office of the leader of the opposition is not mentioned in the Constitution. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. He will be a member of crucial committees such as Public Accounts Committee, its chairman, Public Undertakings and Estimates, and also a member of several joint parliamentary committees. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. The leader of opposition in both houses was accorded statutory recognition under the Salaries and Allowances of Leader of Opposition in Parliament Act 1977 and is entitled to the salary, allowances and other facilities equivalent to that of a cabinet minister. Hence, option D is the correct answer. Next, consider the following statements about syndicated loans. First, it involves large sums which allows the risk to be spread out among several financial institutions to mitigate the risk. Second, interest rates on syndicated loans are always fixed based on a benchmark rate. Which of the above statement is or are correct? Only 1, only 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is option A, that is only 1. Syndicated loans involve large sums which allows the risk to be spread out among several financial institutions to mitigate the risk in case the borrower defaults. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Interest rates on this type of loans can be fixed or floating based on a benchmark rate. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Syndicated loans can be made on a best effort basis, which means that if enough investors cannot be found, the amount the borrower receives is lower than originally anticipated. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Next, consider the following statements about the Hunar Se Rozgar scheme. The initiative is fully funded by the Ministry of Skill Development. The primary goal of the scheme is to offer long-term vocational training to educated unemployed youth aged 18 to 28 years. This scheme gives economic importance to tourism and the potential to promote cultural heritage. Of the statements given above are not correct. 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 1 and 2 only. The correct answer is option D, that is 1 and 2 only. Hunar Se Rozgar scheme. The initiative is fully funded by the Ministry of Tourism. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. The primary goal of the scheme is to offer short-term vocational training to educated unemployed youth aged 18 to 28 years to improve their skill and employability. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. This scheme gives economic importance to tourism and the potential to promote cultural heritage. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Next, consider the following statements regarding public debt. India's debt to GDP ratio was much lower compared to Japan, US and UK in 2022-23. According to the UN Trade and Development report, the public debt in developing countries is rising at twice the rate of that of developed countries. Which of the above statement is or are correct? Only 1, only 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is option C, that is both 1 and 2. According to the Ministry of Finance, India's debt to GDP ratio was at 81% in 2022-23, compared with 260.1% for Japan, 121.3% for the US, 111.8% for France, and 101.9% for the UK. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Recently, a report released by the UN Trade and Development titled A World of Debt 2024, A Growing Burden to Global Prosperity, has revealed an unprecedented global debt crisis in the world. Public debt in developing countries is rising at twice the rate of that in developed countries. Hence, statement 2 is correct. It reached USD 29 trillion, that is 30% of the global total in 2023, rising from 16% in 2010. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Next, sometimes seen in the news, the practice of freezing an individual who has died with the object of reviving the individual sometime in the future is known as cryopreservation, cryonics, cryoablation, or cryogenics. The correct answer is option B, that is cryonics. Cryopreservation is a process that preserves organelles, cells, tissues, or any other biological constructs by cooling the samples to a very low temperature. Cryonics is the process of freezing an individual who has died with the object of reviving the individual sometime in the future. Cryoablation is a medical procedure that uses extremely cold temperatures to destroy benign or malignant tumors. Cryogenics is the branch of engineering that involves the study of very low temperatures, ultra low temperatures, that is below 123 Kelvin, how to produce them and how materials behave at those temperatures. Hence, option B is correct. Next, which of the following statements best describes the Liquidity Adjustment Facility Corridor? It is a framework used by commercial banks to determine their interest rates for loans and deposits. It refers to the range between the repo rate and the reverse repo rate set by a central bank to manage short-term liquidity in the banking system. It is a corridor used by financial institutions to transfer large sums of money internationally. It is a set of regulations that commercial banks must follow to maintain their liquidity ratios above a certain threshold. The correct answer is option B. Liquidity Adjustment Facility Corridor. Liquidity Adjustment Facility Corridor refers to the range between the repo rate and the reverse repo rate set by a central bank to manage short-term liquidity in the banking system. It was introduced in 2000 following the recommendation of Narasimham Committee report on banking reforms. The LAF corridor has the marginal standing facility rate at its upper bound, that is ceiling, and the standing deposit facility rate as the lower bound, that is floor, with the policy repo rate in the middle of the corridor. Hence, option B is correct. The term Casualty Investigation Code is sometimes seen in the news in the context of a guideline by the International Court of Justice to investigate Israeli action in Gaza, plan of action outlined by NATO countries to combat Russia in Ukraine, safety investigation into a marine incident, extinction of living organisms on the earth due to climate change. The correct answer is option C. Casualty Investigation Code. The Casualty Investigation Code builds on the best practices for investigating marine casualties and accidents, which were established by the International Maritime Organization in 1997. The purpose of the code is to create a process for the systematic investigation of marine casualties, to establish and publish causes and make recommendations. The code is designed to facilitate objective marine safety investigations for the benefit of flag states, coastal states, and the shipping industry in general. Hence, option C is correct. Next, consider the following statements about WTO's dispute settlement mechanism. The Ministerial Conference convenes as the dispute settlement body to deal with disputes between WTO members. WTO's dispute settlement mechanism is a two-tiered process comprising a panel and an appellate body. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is option B. WTO's dispute settlement mechanism. The General Council convenes as the dispute settlement body to deal with disputes between WTO members. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. Dispute settlement mechanism is a two-tiered process comprising a panel and an appellate body. Hence, statement 2 is correct. WTO members can request the establishment of a panel to settle the dispute. The panel will issue a report which can subsequently be appealed before the WTO's appellate body on questions of law. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Next. Which of the following countries are common to both SAARC and BIMSTEC? Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1, 2 and 3 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 4 only, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Correct answer is option A. SAARC and BIMSTEC. South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, that is SAARC, comprises 8 member states, namely Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, that is BIMSTEC, comprises 7 member states, namely Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Thailand. 5 of the members, that is India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bhutan and Bangladesh, are common to both the groupings. Hence, option A is correct. Next. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban scheme is being implemented through which of the following verticals? Beneficiary-led construction enhancement, affordable housing in partnership, in situ slum redevelopment, credit-linked subsidy scheme. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 4 only, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Correct answer is option D. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban is one of the major flagship programs being implemented by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The scheme is being implemented through 4 verticals. Beneficiary-led individual house construction enhancement, central assistance up to Rs 1.5 lakh per EWS house is provided to eligible families belonging to EWS categories for individual house construction enhancement. Affordable housing in partnership, it can be a mix of houses for different categories, but it will be eligible for central assistance if at least 35% of the houses in the project are for EWS category. In situ slum redevelopment, central assistance of Rs 1 lakh per house is admissible for all houses built for eligible slum dwellers under the component of ISSR using land as resources with participation of private developers. Credit-linked subsidy scheme. It provides interest subsidy on loan amount for new construction or enhancement of houses. Hence, option D is correct. Now it's time for the practice question. Which of the following is not a feature of constitutionalism? Written constitution, state control of all resources, rule of law or judicial review? So give us the answer in the comment section of the practice question. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.